Get a little more out of watching NBA games with Daily Fantasy. Every LeBron James drive, Jokic rebound, or Steph Curry game winner means so much more when you're playing with DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports. Download the top-rated DraftKings app now and use promo code TBPN when you sign up to get your free shot at up to $10,000 in total prizes every day of the basketball playoffs. Head to DraftKings Pools page to get your shot at huge cash prizes. That's promo code TBPN for a limited time only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for full details.
Man, Game 2 recently happened. Suns Clippers with some wild controversy at the end. The Eastern Conference Finals just began today. Game 1 between the Hawks and the Bucks, and the NBA draft order has just been determined, or yesterday it was determined. I'm Rosa Panta. This is the Clinic All NBA podcast. Again, I have the two hooligans with me. JJ, how you living, my friend?
Doing well, enjoying life. What's up, fans? What's up, listeners?
What's up, JJ? John, how you living, man?
I'm doing good. Let's get it.
Let's get it, dude. So, 2 days ago, Clippers versus the Suns. Lots and lots of drama. Just frequent going back and forth. John, what did you think of this game?
I think the Suns or the Clippers were playing 8-on-5. And Scott Foster and his crew nearly gave the Clippers that game. And I know, look,
wow.
I know people hate on blaming the refs or giving the refs too much responsibility, but they made a lot of questionable calls on that game. So let's talk about the last play of the game first. I mean, Jay Crowder, that lob to Ayton, man, what a play. We're talking about in 0.9 seconds left in the game, Jay Crowder throws the ball up. Devin Booker sets a great screen on Ivica Zubac, and Ayton gets the path to jump up and throw it down with 0.9 seconds left. My first thought was, what a play. When I watched the replay, did you guys see DeMarcus Cousins, his positioning on that inbounds pass? First of all, he's jumping 2 inches because he's super old. He's got a lot of injuries.
He's got old,
and so
old knees, man.
I know, like, Ty Lue must have not had any other options, but I did not think that was a good play because he's big, but he's just really, he's old. He's got bad knees, and he's really not going to make an effort or like make an impact on that inbounds pass from Crowder. And his positioning too, it's just like he's not in an angle that's deterring Crowder from getting a clear line at the basket.
Right,
There's 0.9 seconds, guys, and I'm thinking, dude, he's going to throw it towards the hoop. What else are they going to do? They're not going to, I mean, they could throw it in the perimeter, but that's just like 0.9 seconds. You're not going to do much with that. So to me, it's like the Suns played it perfectly, but the Clippers, man, they made a lot of mistakes on that last play. Jay, what did you think about that last play?
I thought that the lob was perfect. Like the angle, the floating, the float of the ball, and how Crowder used the rim as a defender, and it was just perfect. And I just, wanted to add on to what you were saying about DeMarcus Cousins. Is there a reason with 0.9 seconds left that you need someone on the ball when they're out of bounds? Is that like part of like illegal D or anything like that? Why can't you just like at least have one man crowd like the best shooter or like take the middle? I don't know. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I've seen other strategies where there's technically someone on the ball, but their back is facing towards the ball, so they're actually looking at all the motion happening. And I was wondering the same thing because it really felt like even NBA Twitter was all over this. They were like, everyone in the building seemed to know that this play was gonna go to Ayton with 0.9 left, except the coach on the opposite team. Like he was the only dude. Ty Lue was the only dude that didn't know that was going to happen. Did you guys feel like this was literally the only play that could happen, or like that this was the likely play that was going to be drawn up, or did you think there was going to be like some sort of outside quick shot to like Booker?
No, I immediately thought that they were going to use Booker as a decoy, just because there was only 0.9 seconds, and that's what everybody would expect, right? So they're going to try to use that to their advantage and give the ball to Ayton. And also, the Clippers don't really have an athletic big. Ibaka is out with an injury, and he's probably their best athletic big. Zubats is big, but he's not athletic, so you can use that. You can use that positional that disadvantage to the Suns' benefit. So, and that's what they did. They played it to perfection.
Yeah, I agree. I think that that there was just other options to like clog the lane in that moment, but Jake Crowder's pinpoint pass, I was surprised. I was actually surprised that he was the one inbounding it, because I didn't realize that he was such a great passer. Did you guys realize this too? Because he had a lob early in that game to Ayton, and I didn't know that he could do that. I didn't know that was part of his resume. So like big ups for him. I also wanted to talk about the controversial like turnover that Booker had. Right? Everyone saw this play. Pat Bev poked the ball out. They ended up reviewing it, and in super slow-mo, like maybe Devin Booker had like a pinky on the ball as it was knocked out or something. JJ, what did you think of that like overturning?
I'm like speechless, because what was it, like a minute and a half took 30 minutes with a fast-paced game. And this the sport of basketball, it's about momentum, it's about energy, and it was sucked out within those 30 minutes. Like, as fans, I know you want to have the correct call, but there's a reason that we have refs. They're human. It's gonna happen. Human mistakes will happen. That's why, for example, in baseball, they haven't adapted to technology for the strike zone. But I'm just rambling on. I'm just gonna say that it took too long, and they need to fix it. It was just ridiculous last night.
Yeah, John, what did you think?
Yeah, I think they're just, like JJ said, it's taking too long, and there's nothing wrong with getting the calls right, especially in a crucial playoff game, but they can't take 30 minutes. It was 1.5 minutes of game time, and it took 30 minutes of real life time. I mean, we have stuff to do, right? We have to wake up in the morning, we have to go to work. We can't be watching 30 minutes of slow motion replays to figure out what's going to happen at the end of this game. And so,
in normal circumstances, though, is this really an out on Booker? Like, is that really a turnover? Like, you guys saw the play in real time, right?
Right. Yeah, technically, I think it is. Technically. But the ball doesn't go out of bounds if Patrick Beverley doesn't touch it and move its momentum towards the out of bounds line. So even though Booker technically touched it last, I think you have to take into consideration that the reason why the ball is out of bounds is because of Patrick Beverley. And so the Adam Silver and the NBA really need to figure out, well, how are we going to call this consistently, and what's the right way to call it? In my opinion, I think it's out on Beverley, regardless of if it technically touched Booker last. That's my honest opinion.
And that was like one incident last night. The other incident that I wanted to bring up was when Ty Lue had a substitution, and then he didn't know who was in the game.
Right.
Which I don't know what happened, and then that took another minute or two. And that was just insane. Like, everyone online on social media, they were saying like, it's the refs versus the Suns. And I hate to even refer to social media or Reddit, but it feels that everyone was really displeased with the refs last night. Like, that's the general consensus, and that's a problem.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to add is that the Suns actually wouldn't be able to draw that last play because they were out of timeouts. So the only reason they were able to go out there, Monty Williams was able to run that on the clipboard, was because the refs took extra time to review something. And so it's not fair to the Clippers, and I hate saying that because I want them to lose all the time. But the truth is that it wasn't fair, and that the Suns shouldn't have gotten that opportunity.
Ball don't lie.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also true. Ball don't lie. Besides the whole ref thing, I actually want to talk about Monty Williams a little bit. I think that he might have been how am I trying to say this? Maybe he should have been considered harder for Coach of the Year, because what he's doing with this team is absolutely incredible. I mean, CP3 goes out. I think a lot of people were giving CP3 credit for what happened with the Suns. I mean, we talked about this a few pods ago about who was the MVP of the playoffs, and I had said CP3, that it was the CP3 effect. And CP3's not on the floor right now. He's not even on the sidelines. And do you know who's there? It's Monty Williams coaching up this team. And I think that he's got them running on all cylinders. He has Ayton playing like the best center left in the playoffs. And it's absolutely amazing. JJ, what do you think of Monty Williams?
If you were to listen a few pods back when we were talking about Coach of the Year, I actually said I felt Monty Williams should have won Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
And a derivative of how good of a coach he is you have Aiden's coming out party last night. That was his game.
Absolutely.
Right? You have Booker with the triple-double the game before that. And the game before that was Chris Paul. So different players having the games of their lives, that's a derivative of a great coach. So props to Monty Williams.
Yeah, agreed, John.
I have to agree with that. I think I personally, and maybe a lot of other people, should have considered Monty Williams a lot more for Coach of the Year. And as much credit as we give Chris Paul, point guard, CP3, for, keeping the team intact and making them run like a well-oiled machine, like you said, June, Chris Paul's been out for the last 2 games. And Booker and Ayton have been playing extremely well. And that's not just a testament to their skill, that's part of it. It's also the coach putting them in positions to succeed and get the most out of their game. So absolutely, Monty Williams deserves his props. He deserves more consideration, even though he was a candidate for Coach of the Year. And he's doing his thing, man. Big ups to Monty Williams.
Yeah, I agree. And we're going to move on to game 1 with the Hawks and Bucks. We actually just watched this game. It was a back and forth between these two teams. JJ, what did you think of this game?
Trae Young is proving all the doubters wrong.
Absolutely.
I mean,
JJ is doubter number 1. Just let everybody know.
No,
I meant to say me, right?
I'm a Trae Young fan. I don't think that he's like the MVP candidate just yet, but he's winning a lot of people over. And he just showed up.
Good way to put it.
Giannis.
Yeah.
Which is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Trae Young ended up with a 48, 11, and 7. John, what did you think?
I mean, he is, like JJ said, what can you say about his performance? He absolutely put his team on his back and got a game 1 victory on the road in a hostile environment over the reigning MVP. So to me, there's no question that Trae Young was the reason that the Hawks won this game. And I gotta say, man, the Hawks are for real. And if you're not a believer, you better start believing it, because they could potentially make the finals.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're super sneaky, man. I think that people are still disrespecting the Hawks just because they don't have the high-profile names. I mean, did any of those people make an All-NBA team this year? I think 0, right? None of them made an All-NBA team. I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that none of them did. And we talk highly of Trae Young's role players because Trae Young makes them great. I mean, we've talked about Bogdanovic, we've talked about Herter, Collins, Capella. I mean, do any of those 4 really get shine in other situations? I don't think so. And we're talking about them like they're key contributors. And it's because of the Trae Young effect. I think he's just been an absolute amazing player to watch these playoffs. The Bucks, what do the Bucks need to do to steal game 2 or win game 2 at home? JJ, what do you think?
They need to contain Trae Young.
Yeah.
Trap early, make sure that he has to pass early into shot clock. But the tricky part is that Trae Young has proved that he could be an assist man, having 18 assists not too long ago against the Nets. So it'll be interesting because the Bucks, they're known for their really good D. They have Holiday and Middleton, but can they contain this Hawks team? Like today surprised me, to be honest.
Yeah, and Drew Holiday was trying really hard, and I mean, our boy still put up 48. John, what you think?
So I think for game 2, the Bucks can't let Trey be an efficient scorer, because I think Trey is going to get his, but you can't have him shoot over 53, 54%, because that's going to kill you. You have to make him miss a lot more shots than he makes, and contain him, maybe have him get at least less than 25, 30 points, and try to contain everybody else. But JJ's right. They need to do much better on the pick and roll, the high pick and roll. They need to not go under the screen, and they need to maybe play small. I don't think the big lineup is gonna work because Trey's too fast. He's too crafty. He can dish the ball like JJ said, and he's getting these wide. Once they set the pick, he gets a wide open lane to take a runner, dish it out to the open man, and it collapses the defense. You need a much more mobile big or a smaller guy defending off that pick and roll. And that's, to me, I think if Mike Budd doesn't do that, then we all thought he was the coach. He is.
Dude,
sorry.
I think
sorry to say it like that.
Slander.
That's slander. Total slander. I'm sorry.
It's not
Dude,
slander
Coach,
if it's true, man.
It's true, man. You spoke a lot of truths there. I think the big one is why are they going under on these screens? I mean, you hit up on that. That's so ridiculous. Why would you go under a screen on Trae Young? That doesn't make any sense at all. And then another thing is, how are you going to trot out like Brook Lopez for as many minutes as you did, 20 minutes, and he just gets absolutely abused? Like, Giannis Antetokounmpo needs to be at the 5 against this Hawks lineup because Capella and John Collins are absolutely way too athletic for Brook Lopez, and plus, Brook Lopez against either Herter or Trae Young or even Bogdanovich, he's getting cooked.
Yeah,
every single time on those picks.
Yeah, and the only reason you'd play Brook Lopez is because it's an advantage over the other team's size, right?
Absolutely.
The other team is smaller. But John Collins and Clint Capella, they actually cancel that out. So there's no advantage. So there's no reason to play Brook Lopez. He's just slow, and he's essentially the same size as Clint Capella and almost John Collins. So there's no reason to play him.
Yeah, I mean...
And to add on to that, like, Brook Lopez had the worst plus minus. Like, if you're not just going to go off the eye test, go off the stats.
Right, good point.
Yeah, definitely. I have no trust in Coach Bud. Like, it's...
You said it a lot nicer than I did, but yeah.
Man, it's gonna be an interesting one to watch, and it's really frustrating to watch the Bucks. I think we all feel like this because their team is so talented. They have a lot of different options, and it seems like Coach Bud is very happy with just being kind of like a one-trick pony with his plays. He doesn't like doing a lot of adjustments. We'll see how this, I guess, develops over time. In some other news, we put together a team. Your clinic, all NBA podcasts, put together a playoff team, and we're just renaming them the Shanghai Sharks. And we are drafting the worst playoff performers so far in these playoffs. And we have some starters here. So our point guard, I'm gonna actually have John. John, you introduce these starters for us, and then I'm gonna have JJ introduce the bench.
Oh, you put me on the spot. I'll do my best. All right, starting at point guard, 6'10", from. He went to LS. Did he go to LSU?
LSU, yeah.
LSU at 6'10", shooting 8% from the field, 35% from the free throw line. Ben Simmons. At other guard, with a killer crossover, nasty crossover, But other
nasty,
than that,
he gets
that's pretty.
injured,
That's
like, almost
so
every
nasty.
time.
Yeah, so nasty. He gets injured all the time, and that's pretty much all he's known for in the playoffs. Kemba Walker at power forward. At power forward. Sorry, we got a few like repeated positions here, but power forward, a big O 7'3", who's very pale, needs to get some sun and vitamin D, who can shoot lights out, but for some reason can only average 16 points a game in the playoffs, gets injured a lot, like his counterpart, Kemba. Kristaps, I think I said his name. Kristaps Porzingis. And then at one center.
Only two more to go.
Only two more to go. I'm making it as quick as I can. I'm sorry. I'm on the fly here.
You're doing great.
At one center, we got former Cleveland Cavalier legend, who has the most empty stats probably in all of the history of the NBA, and came to the Lakers for 1 year and completely ruined the chemistry of the team. But other than that, dominated with the Cavs. At center, 7 feet tall, Andre Drummond. And finally, the final starter, another center. We got so many centers on this team, guys. Another center, the guy who started COVID by rubbing all his saliva and spit all over the mat, all over the microphone. One of the best defenders in the league, the Frenchman, Rudy Gobert. Hey, those are our starters. All right, we might have to cut it. Well, yeah. What's up? Sorry, that took so long. I gotta try to get
that
creative.
Shanghai Sharks announcer is pretty lit.
Yeah, I love it. Sign him to a deal at NBC, ESPN.
I know, for real.
ABC.
Yo, you guys.
Man, I don't think me or JJ are gonna even top that.
No
So
way.
we're just gonna say the bench.
Yeah, just go. That's all good. That took way too long. What was that like? I feel like a ref, man, taking 30 minutes just to end the game. That took way too long.
That felt like Giannis's free throws right there.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
JJ, who we got on the bench?
We got John's boy Schroeder, who deleted his current team
goodness.
off his IG profile.
The $100 million man.
The $100 million man that he rejected. We got Lonzo Ball's on this list.
He didn't make the playoffs, but
Is it because he shoots 1 for 8? Is it because his dad likes to yell at the mic that he's better than Jordan? We got Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
Congrats to LaMelo though. I don't know if he deserved it, but congrats to LaMelo.
Yeah.
Right? We got Tyler Hero, who was absent in the playoffs. He wanted to give his grin, his smirk at LeBron last year.
Yeah.
And this year, Laker fans had their revenge without even playing them. So, I'm just looking at John right now. Shout out to my boy over
Yeah,
there.
we were just trying to get reactions out of John right now.
oh, man, you'll see it. You'll see it on video. I'm beside
We got
myself
Wiggins.
over here.
Yeah,
We got
Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins, major improvement, but it's all about expectations and value. You're paying a dude, 23 to 30 million a year, and you're not, what was he, like 3 for 43 on three-pointer in the beginning of the year?
At the beginning of the year, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
so Wiggins is on our team. Call us biased, but we had to put Wiggins and the former six-man Montrezl Harrell, who did not see any play during the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know if John agrees with that or not, but
Sixth man of the year to like
sixth man of the year.
10th man of the bench.
I mean, if you're gonna pay somebody and sign him for 1 year, I don't get why you don't play him. But this is thanks for making me sad again, JJ. Appreciate it.
Sorry, but hey, let me ask you two something. Who would be the coach? I want to put Coach Bud here,
man.
even though he hasn't lost yet.
Who?
Ooh, Coach Bud would be good.
Oh, I put Doc Rivers on this list.
Oh, he's not out yet too. That's a good
Yeah, he's
one.
not out yet either.
Yeah, he's not out yet, but he's about to be.
Man, I'm trying to think of some other coaches that would make. I think those two would be the best, right?
Oh no, sorry. Doc Rivers is out. We thought Doc Rivers is still on the Clippers. He was.
Oh
the
no.
Sixers coach.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's out.
He's out.
Okay, that settles it.
Doc, man. I guess Doc. Doc Rivers is your Shanghai Sharks coach, and that is your starting and bench for 2022. And recently we had the NBA draft lotto come out, and we just want to talk about how the Motor City has the first pick. John, who do you think is going to be this year's number 1 pick?
I mean, you got to go. The consensus is Cade Cunningham. I think there's a lot not a lot can happen because the draft is in July. But unless there's somebody else that comes up or has a great workout with the Pistons, it's got to be Cade Cunningham, man. I've seen a few highlights of the kid. He can do it all. He can shoot. He can score at all 3 levels. He can dish. He's got athleticism. He's fast. He can rebound. He can play defense. He has all the potential to be a star. So I think you got to go with the kid, Cade Cunningham. And good for Detroit, man. I think their first pick was in the 70s. And so it's good for the city. Yeah, good for them, man.
Yeah, JJ, dude, do you agree?
Yeah, I don't think there's much argument that you could go against. It's like when you're the first pick for fantasy football, you can't get too cute, or you're scared to get cute.
I agree. I think it's also Cade Cunningham, and I think the most interesting part of this draft probably is that the Warriors landed 2 picks with the 7th and the 14th pick. The 7th was actually from Minnesota. It was that trade that they gave D'Lo to Minnie for. So basically, I want to know what are some possible things that the Warriors can do with these picks. I'm going to go with JJ first, our resident Warrior fan.
So I know a lot of people last night watching the draft order being determined, they were worried that we wouldn't get a pick because it was top 3 protected from Minnesota. So a lot of luck played into last night. In regards to what the Warriors should do, I mean, championship windows close fast, and we just saw a very vital year, imperative year of Steph just go off. And if you want to appreciate that talent and help him succeed, what are some things that the Warriors should do? Obviously, he needs help, but the only way to get help is to free up cap space, which means should we trade Draymond or Wiggins? Would anyone bite on a Wiggins contract right now with his level of play? Would anyone want to invest in a Draymond Green? I actually believe that Draymond on a team like Portland or Philly would work wonders. But there's also a part of me that I'm a huge Draymond Green fan. If he teams up with Steph and Klay for 1 more year and they get the help that they need, they could be really dangerous.
Yeah, I think Draymond Green is still really productive. John, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough one because you always gotta factor in. Well, do the Warriors try to win now, or do they try to stay competitive and also try to build for the future and not just mortgage their future as they say? But I gotta say, guys like Steph and Klay don't come around very often, and if you have that kind of talent, you have to take advantage of it while they're in their prime, or even if they're a little bit past their prime. They're still in that level of play that's excellent. That's amazing, right? Steph had one of the best years, and Klay, I think there's a lot of concern about how he's coming back. I think I would be pretty confident just looking at KD and seeing how KD came back. I know Klay had an ACL in addition to the Achilles. KD only had the Achilles, but KD came back 100%. He played every minute in the last 2 playoff games. So to me, I think if Klay can go back 100%, Steph is going to be doing what he did this season for next, I think you definitely have to try to package that 7 and 14 and another player to try to get at least another star, an all-star,
right,
on the team. And I know Draymond is an all-star, I get that, but I think that you can maybe get somebody who's better. And he's kind of on the decline, Draymond. And we'll see what the Warriors do. They have great management, but I think they're gonna bite on. They're gonna try to look for a trade, and leverage a lot of what they have here in terms of a draft pick and even some young players. I mean, like Oubre. I don't know the contract situation with Oubre, and with a few of their other young guys, but they have a lot of assets that they can use to trade. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think that's what they should do.
Yeah, I think the Oubre contract is kind of up in the air. I think that another sneaky part about the Warriors is that they have more than just Draymond and Wiggins to trade. Like, they could even entice a team with James Wiseman, like saying, hey, do you like this young center prospect? We might not have time to develop him because we're trying to win now. Do you guys want him? And can you get a guy like a Bradley Beal that might not be happy with his situation next to Russell Westbrook? Or maybe like Jimmy Butler feels like the Heat took a huge step back this year and now he's with the Nets. I mean, now he's in a conference with the Nets. Like, does he want to be there? I don't know, but maybe you could package some things together, like you said, to get an all-star. But it's just about whether or not Steph, Clay, and potentially another guard/forward can be cohesive. I don't know if like a Steph, Bradley Beal, and Clay would work, and Clay being at the 3 would be like a potentially good thing, but I would like to see that. I mean, Steph won the scoring title and Bradley Beal was number 2, right? There's just so many fun options for the Warriors, and I'm kind of excited to see what their future holds. Now we're gonna kind of take we kind of zigged a little bit. We're gonna take a hard zag. We're gonna talk about John's boy, AC.
GOAT.
Alex Caruso. He just got arrested in Texas for weed possession. John, I wanted to get your insight, man. I want you to talk to us about this story, what you think.
Alex
Be careful, your mom's listening.
Yeah, I sent her the link.
the Caruso. So, I mean, it's a funny story to me, right? Because
yeah,
he got busted in Texas for weed possession, and it's illegal in Texas still. I don't know. I just think it's funny. Maybe he was stressed out because of the season that the Lakers had. Maybe he looked at Dennis Schroeder and realized this guy should definitely not be starting over me, and maybe he's stressed out. And he needed to take a little puff of the Magic Dragon. I don't know. To me, it's like not. It's just a funny story. It's something that's not a big deal. But the fact that he is a Laker, the fact that it is in the biggest he plays for the biggest team, the biggest market, one of the biggest markets. It's just you're gonna get a lot of news stories covering it and make a big deal out of something that's really not that big of a deal. He posted bail, he's out, and he paid a fine of like $500-$600. And come on, man, Texas of all places is that strict for marijuana, but they're just so lax on everything else. No offense to anybody that lives in Texas. I love Austin. I've been there. It's cool. It's a cool city, cool state. But come on, man, marijuana is 2021. That's my thoughts on that.
JJ, what'd you think?
The governor just passed a few laws in regards to the Second Amendment, but you could still get arrested for weed. Come on, man. It's 21st century.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
agree.
I'll say.
I agree. I mean, maybe AC was like thinking back to his days that he was like kicking it with J.R. Smith on the team. Maybe. I actually saw that LeBron like responded to like this news too. Like,
what did he say?
I think there was someone who put out like a meme where this guy goes to like the outside of a pet store and there's this like kitty that's like pressing up against the glass, and the guy's like, "I'm gonna get you out. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get you out of here. I'm gonna break you out of here. I swear to God." And the title was like me seeing the Alex Caruso like news, and LeBron responded, straight cash, homie, like he's gonna bail him out with cash. I appreciated
funny,
it.
man.
I appreciated that LeBron is getting in on the free AC movement. Anyway, that's actually all that we have for today's podcast. I'd like to thank JJ. JJ, thank you for being on the show, man.
Thank you, listeners. Appreciate you all.
And I'd like to thank also John. John, thank you, dude.
Hey, yo, thank you.
And of course, we gotta thank RJ. RJ setting up video, our video producer. Thank you, RJ. Our last thank you goes to the fans. And, come find us wherever you find your podcasts. We are the Clinic All NBA Podcast.
Woo.